go by the name of Chief Blackfoot the Mage, also known as Mage, also known as like abbreviated MGE, like period. Is that? It's actually pretty funny how I came across the name. It was me and my friend Ryan on the phone, because originally like I named the whole project like just Mage, and I was like, it's gonna be like an anonymous project, like nobody's gonna know that I'm doing these beats or anything like that. Talking, and he was like, yo, just don't make it like Mage, make it Chief Blackfoot the Mage. And I was like, oh, word, that sounds pretty cool. So I was just like, let me just put that, like, just to be random. And eventually it evolved into like just Mage period, like just to shorten the name, because like some people couldn't really find me, and like I spelled my name on SoundCloud like weird as hell. But I say I've been making music in general, like since I was like roughly 8 years old, doing like, I guess you could say like experimental hip hop. Like in general, I've been doing that since about last year. So I've been doing it for like a year and some change. And I got started off of that because like I originally like do hip hop, but I kind of wanted to like take a dive into that experimental beat scene, because I remember listening to this radio station as a kid called 91.1 WRVU, and every Friday they have like styles of hip hop, and they have like a whole entire program of like real experimental beats. And I listen to cats like Aesop Rock and MF Doom and like guys like that, and I'd be like, oh man, this is dope. I want to make music like that eventually. And it's crazy because now I'm starting to like become what I was into like as a kid. So it's cool, pretty cool to see that transition. I'd say like the music scene down here is it's growing. It's growing. Like usually like people think Nashville, they think country music capital, like Nashville star, like stuff like that. But we're slowly having like an underground scene of different genres. Like not even just like hip hop and experimental in general. Like that's like a slowly growing thing. But we're having we have like a nice hardcore scene down here. Like for the metalheads, we have like a pretty cool metal scene down here. I've done like a couple of projects, like a couple of hardcore projects before. Like I've just been like all over the place. But we have like a pretty cool electronic like dance music scene. We have a pretty good folk scene. Like everybody's pretty much doing their thing right now, and it's starting to come out into the forefront more. And it's beautiful. I'd say my influences, as far as like beat making and producing, I pretty much take inspiration from everywhere and like many different genres. Like as a kid, I grew up listening to like a whole lot of soundtracks to like Japanese things. Like I was into anime a lot, like hardcore as a kid, like Dragon Ball Z. So it's like I'd listened to the music afterwards and like Gundams, and I'm like, yo, this music is like sick. So eventually I came to like embed that kind of influence into my style. Like I use a lot of samples from like old Japanese and Korean music that I used to listen to as a kid, and it's like I'll flip stuff like that, and I mean it gives me an opportunity to like put creativity from my own standpoint into my music. And other influences I have, I say probably, man, just really experimental stuff, like Animal Collective. I listen to like a lot of them. I like old stuff too, like I love Sun Ra. I've been into Sun Ra a lot lately, and the whole space orchestra type deal, the Space is the Place deal. I've been into that like pretty heavy. I've been like watching a whole lot of independent movies and videos about Sun Ra. I also like Leon Thomas and Pharoah Sanders and Lonnie Liston Smith. He's pretty good too. And but I grew up listening to like a lot of guys like Flying Lotus, Jay Dilla, like always. It's like and like for the hip hop thing, I grew up listening, like I said before, a lot of A$AP Rock and MF Doom and Ya Supreme and Talib Kweli, fucking Apani B, like a lot of people like that I enjoy listening to. Like being younger, and I think eventually like it came to me like raising the bar for myself like that, like trying to create music at that same caliber that made you feel that way. So to say, like Black Alicia's reference, still like one of my favorite songs of all time. But I feel like right about now, you know, Nashville's a pretty good city to do music in. It's real versatile. It's growing, like it's at a constant rate of growing, and the people in it and the musicians, they're at like a constant rate of growing too. And it's gonna pretty much evolve into something bigger. Trying to create a movement down here, trying to move mountains.